Live. All right, let's get this all shared out so we can get started right at 11 o'clock. Let's go here. Gotta wait for my live notification to pop up so that I can go ahead and share it all out. Let's see here. There we go. I see the live, but let's see if it shows to only me or to friends. It's doing only me. So I have to, I should have known last time. It's like it picks and chooses when it wants to do it correctly. So I have to remove it. So if you're watching the playback of this is a live broadcast. And we experience the same technical difficulty every single time. And I have to rectify it before we get started. But the joys of playbacks is you get to fast forward past this part if you're watching the playback of this. If you're watching live, you just got to suffer through it just a little bit. While I get this all set up, because it's not my fault. It is some type of glitch between the platform that I use, StreamYard, and Facebook, and the way that it connects to it. So yeah, I can't really control that part. So I just removed it, and then we're going to go back into this. All right, so I'm back live. So this time around, it should be broadcasting to friends. So I just, it should be, let's see here. Let me see. Oh, it's still not telling me who it's broadcasting to. So let's go back out. All right, there we go. Now it's broadcasting to where somebody can see it other than me. And we can go ahead and share it out. Hello, everyone. INKcredible Greetings. How art thou? How are you guys doing today? I'm going to go ahead and get my share on. And then we're going to get started. Today, we are discussing, I guess, even though I have to do the whole intro thing, maybe I have to do the whole fix the audience. I should, let you guys know if you're not reading the description or the title of this and what we're going to talk about. So before I get into sharing, today's live is going to be on, once again, it's what I've been talking about all week long. Well, for the past week, 2 weeks when I do these live videos, it's comparing my top 3 design platforms. Now, there are a plethora of design platforms out there, but we are discussing my top 3, the 3 that I actually teach: Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, and Canva. In no particular order, other than number 1. To know me and to love me is to know that Silhouette Studio is my number 1. It's my go-to whenever I am trying to figure out a design. It's the first thing I go to figure out, hey, can this be done in this program? And if it can, I'm going to do it over here. If it's something that requires something else, I'm going to do it somewhere else. So Silhouette Studio is always my number 1. It's a toss-up between Canva and Photoshop. Although when it comes to assets or elements, of course, Canva is top for that because it has a library of elements, all types of graphics, photos, icons, shapes, videos, everything that you can think of. It's built in, and it has templates already set up for you. So it's really great for that. It is kind of, I guess you say beginner friendly. It was plug and play or plug and go. So it's great for those things, but it does have its limitations once you're actually in the designing phase of things. So it's not always my go-to. I like it for concepts or just elements and things, but when I'm actually designing, for me personally, there are some limitations to Canva that I just don't, care for. Photoshop is one where it can be a bit more of a learning curve because there are so many different things that you could do with the software. It works well for so many different industries and things of that nature. And all of those buttons and settings and things can be really, really, really confusing to a newbie, and it can be intimidating. But if you take it one step at a time and like gradually learn any of these programs that you're brand new to, it becomes easier and easier. And then you start to understand where the benefit of each program lies. I could not survive without having multiple programs. I was always an Adobe girl, and even with that, was like it's like using Photoshop and Illustrator. Like, what's the difference between those? But I also was using Word a lot because like word art was a little bit easier in like getting things to like have the 3D look or be curved. For the longest time, it was easier for me to just click a button in Microsoft Word and then utilize that. I'm also used to using Corel Draw. But I do feel like in my creative journey, in this journey of always just elevating when it comes to designing, this is kind of like my big three: Silhouette Studio, Canva, Photoshop. They do me well. Okay. So that's what we are going to break down today. Make sure that you guys give this video a thumbs up. Give it a like if you're watching over on Facebook. Tag a friend, share it out. Even if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead, hit that share button, copy the link. You can post it to your Facebook as well or other places. But just go ahead, share it out. Also, drop a comment as soon as you come in. Drop a comment. Let me know. Just say hey, hello, konnichiwa. Whatever language you say, you greet people in. Go ahead and drop that greeting in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from and what you do in the creative space. What are your go-to design platforms? Okay. All right. So let me just go ahead, get this all shared out. Good morning, Miss Loretta. Crafting is my business. Adrian. Hello. Good morning. Esther, how art thou? How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you for your comments. And then let me know in the chat, what design platform do you use? Hey, Lamont. Well, Terrence. It says T. Lamont, but yeah, let's see. Okay, I did the wrong thing over there. Let me come back and select text. This is a little off topic, but how many of you guys are utilizing ChatGPT and AI? Or should I say, who here has not really gotten into utilizing AI? I missed it. Damn it. I got to put an alarm on my phone. I missed the 11 o'clock on the dot. OMG. I can't believe I missed it. That was the whole purpose of me going live before 11 o'clock, and I missed it. Damn it. I'm going to catch it tomorrow. I'm going to put it as an alarm on my phone so that I know to not miss. It's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my live stream teaching my peeps. Although technically, I could really say it because those who are watching the playback wouldn't know that it wasn't really 11 o'clock on the dot. So whenever I notice that I'm not actually there, I'm still going to say it because no one will technically know. So, next time I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to do it. All right. So we got that part shared out. Let's go ahead and today. we're gonna go and hold on. Why can't I get to the comments? There we go. All right. So I use ChatGPT with Creative Fabrica. Video are called Merely G, huh? Merely G. Wait, what? It's a platform for that? Not yet. I use ChatGPT with Creative Fabrica. Have not started using AI in any way, shape, or form. Oh man, like this is one of those things where you know how when the smartphones, like all the smartphone stuff came out, and the older people, you know, your grandmas and stuff, when they're used to just the house phone, they were just used to the flip phone, still just flip it up, dial a number, keep it moving. Now you got to swipe up, do this, do that, like, and kind of how they felt, but they had to get into it because that's how a lot of the phones, like the cell phones, are created. It's going to be kind of the same thing. AI has been around for a really, 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 really long time. I mean, look at the fact that, you know, Will Smith did this whole movie, you know, I Am Robot. And so artificial intelligence has been around for a while. It's not new, but it is taking over everything. I mean, when you go on to like even like our social medias, within my Facebook group, like Meta has added an AI bot that's supposed to keep engagement and like post certain things. And you'll see that in a lot of people's groups. Now, when you search Google, it doesn't just give you like your results. Now it's giving you AI responses. When you're on social media, you see something, there's like AI responses like underneath. Google has Gemini, you have ChatGPT, you have all these different platforms to generate images. You are not going to escape AI. Opus Clips allows you to take long form content and like break it down. It'll give you smaller clips. It doesn't always work. Like to me, some places it breaks off the clips is just not that great. I still prefer I still prefer kind of my regular editing, but it's helped me kind of just understand about like editing certain things. But like Opus Clips, and then there's ones that will do presentations for you. Canva has a lot of AI built into it, especially with like their sheets and doing like formulas and creating different tables and things of that nature. AI is something that you have to, like you have to. There is no escaping it. You can like where you used to call customer service and it's kind of like, oh my God, like I'm talking to someone that doesn't understand me. They're overseas somewhere. They're outsourcing their customer service. There are now people who are doing AI bots for their customer service, and they are the ones answering the phones, and then based off of like your response is like how they will respond. So you know, you have that. I mean, AI for people. Like I was in this, I know we're going to talk about Photoshop all that, but I was in this like one training, and she was showing how she recorded herself. She had to submit, you know, upload a couple of videos of like her actual voice or audio recording so that it understood the cadence of her voice and things of that nature, to where she could have that particular bot or that AI generation show up in Zoom rooms, and it looks like her and it responds to questions asked, because it's like with ChatGPT, you ask a question, going to respond to it. And so you kind of basically feed it like how you think about certain situations and stuff like that. And then it can answer on your behalf. And she's like, I literally can take this bot and I can be in 50 different Zooms at one time. Brown and Bougie was just showing this AI generation where somebody looked like they were doing like a Fenty type commercial or tutorial, and it was all AI. Like the before, you could really, really tell. You might think I'm AI, and I technically talk with my hands a lot, but normally that's how you can tell a lot of the AI stuff, because it does a lot of weird like hand movements. I naturally talk with my hands. I am not AI. I promise y'all I'm not AI. Okay. I like doing this. I want to show up to do these, but it's becoming just, you can't run away from it. I know some of you guys, especially if you're in the craft world, some of the gurus, the coaches, the mentors, the whatever you want to call them, they have been using AI to create like little cartoonish type images, or, and then they'll talk back and forth like with them. You have those who create, they're kind of like 3D models of stuff. And the one that really freaks me out, and a lot of people are using it, I don't really care for them, but they'll take like movie scenes or from TV shows or just like little clips, and they're making them look like babies. And I'm not understanding that. I will say for me, it's kind of weird. I know like back in the, remember the E-Trade babies? And I think they were kind of cute, and it was like talking about stocks and stuff. And to me, I mean that, but I don't know now, like taking like very adult, like that's there, like that was new content, right? That wasn't like repurposing stuff. And to make it where they're babies, I'm trying to figure out why would the delivery be different from things or images that look like babies? I don't know. Like to me, it's weird. I don't really care for those videos, but that's where a lot of people are making money at in this digital space, where they're not creating, like AI is making it where you don't have to create technically original content. You can take something and then repurpose it, like what's trending. And for some reason, redoing all of these like movie scenes and TV scenes and commercials and things like that in these like chubby face babies is really popular. It's getting all these views. I know that these platforms are monetized, so they're making a bunch of money off of content that is not necessarily theirs. They're just sitting behind a computer and repurposing it. And to some, that seems like, yo, well, why do I want to go and do all this manual stuff when I can do that? Like some people have like, I'm not going to learn. I'll just make money off of this. I'll make money off of social media from people watching these videos. So AI is making it where there are a lot of opportunities to make money or start businesses, or like just get started with certain things that you otherwise would not have, and be a little bit more creative and kind of think outside of the box. But you got to also be careful with it. Okay. All right. So I know I went into this whole little AI tangent. My apologies, because I still need to share. So my bad. But I said all that because it just makes my life easier. It's still my voice is what I want to say, but to speed up a lot of the times with like descriptions or sharing out, I will use ChatGPT, let it know what I want to say or what I'm doing. And I don't have to type it out. I just use my microphone and it spits it out. I fed it like my the links that I want to use, so that I don't have to like copy and paste those or find them every single time. It just puts it in the thread, and I can just copy and paste it and then put it in my description and things. So it has made my life easier when it comes to that part of it. All right, so we are all shared out. What I'm doing, and I don't have to type it out. I just use my microphone. Okay, hold on. Sorry. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to get back to this so that I can. What's what I'm looking for? Okay, let's go. Okay, why is it not coming up now? Okay, we're just going to do add highlight. It's like that picks and chooses when it wants to work. It's so weird. Okay. There we go. All right. Oh, wait. No, I did it on the wrong one. It's okay. All right, y'all. Incredible greetings. We're going to get into this. As you guys come in, like I said, drop a hey, how you doing? That helps the algorithm. Give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a heart, laugh at it, make an angry face. It doesn't matter. All the interactions, they help. Tag a friend. If you have a group and you don't mind things like this being shared, go ahead and hit share and share it to your groups. Hit copy link. I don't know if I shared it here, but we're going to see. Copy the link. All right. So we're going, like I said, we're going to talk about Silhouette Studio, Canva, Photoshop. All right. And the question, it's so hard now because it's on two different ones that I have to go into different spaces. So I'm just going to ask the question again. What design programs or platforms are you currently using? It doesn't have to be any of these three. So if you are an Affinity user, if you are a Cricut, if you are Inkscape, if you are Procreate, if you are PixArt, if you are using Corel, it doesn't matter. I just want to know all of the, if you're using Kettle, one of those, whatever design platforms you are using, I want to see it in the chat. Even if you're watching the replay of this, I would like to know what platforms or design programs you are using to make your creations. Jesus, what is going on today? All right. So to know me and to love me is to know, or if you don't know me, I'm going to let you know. My top three are Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, and Canva. Photoshop and Canva are interchangeable as number 2 and number 3, but Silhouette Studio is definitely number 1 in my life. No, this is not a sponsored video. I am not sponsored. I am not affiliate of Silhouette America. This is not a sponsored video. I came across this ecosystem of the machines and the program nearly 12 years ago. Now, because my niece is 11 now. So, and I found this like before she was still in her mom's tummy. Okay. So about 11 years, almost 12, I found this and I absolutely fell in love. I was someone at the time that was using Corel Draw. I eventually went back to Photoshop once I could afford it. And actually it going to like the whole subscription base and my sister being a teacher helped. But I eventually went back to the whole Adobe platform because my bootleg version didn't work anymore. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I love Adobe. I'm an Adobe girl. Once I was introduced to Adobe in the 11th grade, it was like, yo, seriously? This is so freaking amazing. Okay. So let me know what platforms you are currently using. Okay. All right. Hey, Nancy, how are you? I am incredible. How art thou? Renee, hello. Deborah, thank you for joining. It's Vanessa, hello. Christy, hello. I am incredible. Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, Canva in that order. Okay. I want to learn Illustrator. You can't hear me. It may be you. Well, you're not going to hear that part. So I'm not muted. So I don't know. No one on YouTube wants to answer what design programs you are using. Come on, guys. I know you might be at work sneaking in, but let me know in the chat what design platforms you are using. Silhouette Studio, Canva, and Illustrator. Okay. Are they in that order as far as preference? Chrissy says, I want to learn Illustrator. What is it about Illustrator that you makes you want to learn it? What do you think that you would be able to do in Illustrator that maybe other platforms don't provide? All right. So Walker Creation says Walker's Creations is using Canva. Claire, only Silhouette. Okay. Anyone else? Do any of these 3 platforms, these design programs, intimidate you where you are a little scared? Like, be honest, and you are a little scared, you find it a little intimidated, or you think that it might be difficult to learn? Canva, Silhouette, Illustrator is my order. I only use Silhouette, Cricut, and Canva. Okay. I only have Canva, but I don't use it much though, and want to learn Silhouette. Right now, I only print cards. So the cards that you are printing Are they coming designed already and you just have to print them out, or are you designing them? Claire finds Canva. She wants to learn Canva, or Canva is intimidating, because I did ask kind of two ways. I forgot about Cricut. No, I have to design them myself. I print from Photopea and Silhouette. Okay, so wait, let me go back to Deborah. Deborah, you said that I only have Canva, but I don't use it much. So where are you designing at? You says, no, I have to design myself. So where are you creating, and what type of cards are you making, like greeting cards? So you think what will be difficult to learn because you didn't put a program there. Wait, are you guys not hearing me over on Facebook? Let me check. Hello. How art thou? And I already know I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, no. Wait, am I not live on Facebook anymore? Hello. Hold on, y'all. Nope. Okay, I do have audio over there. Okay. Yeah, I went to go look. I'm like, I can hear, so I'm not sure, because she said she couldn't hear me, and I didn't see any response over here. So I was wondering if you guys can hear me or not. Okay. I don't know a lot yet about designing, so I just find what I can, and they are very basic birthday cards, and whatever event. Okay, so again, but where are you putting these together at? So even if it's basic, there's nothing that says you have to go and do extravagant. There's a lot. If you're looking to sell, there's a lot of money in very simple, basic things without going over the top. But where are you creating those at? Because you're saying that you're not utilizing Canva. So where are you creating your designs at? Hey, just say Design Space, Silhouette, and Canva. Okay. I feel like maybe this would have been better in Zoom, to where when I'm asking you guys, like, what do you like about these platforms? What you don't like. Those are the type of things that I would love to hear from you guys, like, to be able to help you, knowing what you like about these, what you don't like, what you wish they had, so that I know how to gear certain teachings, because there's a lot that you can make in any of these design platforms. I mean, I remember back in the day, because I used to do newsletters, and I can't remember the one that we used when I was in high school for like yearbook and newspaper. But I know Publisher was like one of them, because how you can do like the columns and stuff like that. So Publisher is technically still, designing, because you have to put, your headings and bylines and, like, the pictures and the columns and things of that nature. So I've gone through that. I've used InDesign to create certain ebooks and things of that nature. Like, when I tell you, there are so many different programs. And in this craft space, so although there's like all these different things, that I've had the privilege and the honor of working in a lot of programs and having a lot of experience in a bunch of different like design areas. I'm going to kind of come and compartmentalize this in, to the things that we create for something like a tumbler or a shirt, or lanyards, or greeting cards, birthday cards, invitations, party favors, things of that nature. I mean, even the company that designed this, it's a certain level of graphic designing. And this right, okay, so let me ask you guys a question. The way that this is right here, right? So I'm going to go and show this whole thing. What design programs do you think you could do this design in? What design programs do you think is required? Like, this has to be done in X, Y, or Z. I just need to spend more time using them. My struggle now is moving towards designing files for laser cutting or laser cutting. I just got Canva Pro and going to need some training. Well, we do have a Canva class. So it's Understanding Canva 101. The link for it is in the description of the video. I highly recommend it. Or just go straight to our site if you've ever purchased from us, shop.hsink365.com, or you can go to 365 Creative Academy and you will find that training course. I use Canva and just use the pics I see in there and have not gotten to the point where I can sell them because I have a lot to learn to design them. Let's just say happy birthday. Like you're saying you can't sell them. I'm not sure why most people feel like there is a certain level to designing, like to being able to sell something. There are some that are so intimidated by any design platform. Simply putting happy birthday on a 5, like to where it's set up for like the finished size is 5x7. So you know that you're going to go, okay, wait, that was 5x7. So that would be what, a 10x7 to be able to fold that in half to get a 5x7 when it's folded, putting happy birthday and putting a color on there. Do you know that there are so many people who are intimidated by just that? We just had Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Put a tie, put a bow tie, put a fishing rod, put beer, a bottle on it or whatever. There are those who cannot do that. Okay. There are those who are so busy that they don't want all of the extras. They don't want what I see in a lot of these groups and what people call templates. They have way too much stuff on it. It's almost like they have in their mind that everybody wants to create, or they have the ability to just type something out to where all I see is things with lightning bolts and splashes and distressed edges, and they got 30,000 elements on it. It's not required. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. If you go and you're creating that, there is an audience of people. You just have to be willing to market. Now, if you're wanting to create to attract those who are looking for all of that stuff, then yes, you have to learn to design it. However, like I said, there are people who don't need all of that extra, and they are literally waiting for you to put it out there because they're looking at these other designs like, why in the hell they got all this stuff on there? I can design, but I'm like, let's say if for some reason I could not design, I would be so stuck in who to order stuff from, because everybody that I see in these groups is like they're trying to be extra, and it's like they just have a element and background gumbo, and they're just throwing everything into this designs, and it makes my eyes itch, like seriously. So don't think that you have to create all of these things, and if you know how to pick a font, hell, slant it, add color, and you know how to properly set up a file so that it can be folded, you can sell that, my dear. Now, is it something that you're going to technically be able to sell for hundreds of dollars? No, but like it's about selling in volume. Even if you have that and it's a $3, $5 file, whoever, whatever, your goal would be volume and finding a lot of people who appreciate the simplicity and the ease of it, and they're willing to spend $5, and you just have to worry about volume versus, okay, let me sell this higher end thing to fewer people. Make sense? Yep. She says, so, and my family is always asking me to make them a card, and I do know how to put family pics in or on the card, and I love cards. And yes, ma'am, you are so right, because they ask for just a card. Yes. Thank you so much, and I will do better. Start doing that. All right. So creating designs for lasers. So is it that you're wanting to create layered things for your laser cutting? Because if you go and you just type out a name and you weld it and you save it in the proper file format, that becomes something that you can cut with a laser. Is it that you're wanting to create a bunch of layer designs? This is where being very, very specific about what it is that you want to create helps you determine what platform you would need. So, like someone in your position, like in your case, laser is no different than this cutting machine. It needs a path. You cannot utilize, like, you can't just have a rasterized image. You cannot have what's called a JPEG or a bitmap image. So let's say like this peacock, right? The final version of it, to where it's not like all in the individual layers of shapes, would be saved as a JPEG or a PNG if I wanted to have the transparent background. I would not be able to take this and just input it into the laser software and it's going to cut and layer all of this. So if I wanted this to be laser cut and to cut each one so I can put it together, you would then have to isolate each individual color and its outline, which of course this is way too complicated. You would just end up doing an outline cut and then just doing a UV print on it or just putting a sticker on it. But that's just kind of how that is. Let's take the word teach. If I were to save it as a JPEG or in PNG and flatten it, I would not be able to just laser cut it, right? You can't save that. Anything that is a picture file, you can't save it. But when I just type that out, you size it, it can be set to where it can cut from a laser machine. Okay. And so that is that. So that's the thing. So she says, I would like to be able to create multiple layers. I can do it, but I want to become more proficient. What does that? These are questions that you guys should be asking yourself. So you're like, okay, I can do it. What level of layering? Let's just go back to this, right? So knowing that if I wanted to layer this, right? And you can see there's the letters and then there is an outline around it. Like, let's even forget about the white. Let's just say the glitter part that's there. Putting in offset. Now you just have one that is saved and you're going to layer that. That is layered. What level is it that you're wanting to create these shadow boxes and things of that nature? Are you trying to mix engraving with the full on like cutout? You have to truly like narrow down what it is that you're wanting to do so that you can actually focus on those tools, those techniques in the programs. So if that's what you're wanting to do, and you rather become more proficient in that, setting something up in Canva or Photoshop would not be where you spend the majority of your time. Or if you are going to create it there, and especially when it comes to Photoshop, you then have to learn how to take something that you may have created in Photoshop, bring it over into a vector-based program, and how do you now vectorize this so that you have the clear paths that your laser will follow. So we see how these programs differ. For what you're wanting to do, something like Silhouette, Illustrator, Corel Draw, Inkscape, they're going to be the programs that you need to invest the majority of your time in, because those are the ones, without doing a whole lot of extra, how you're designing it in there, making those shapes, doing offsets, they're going to instantly create these cut lines, for your laser machine for you. So you want to focus on those platforms and how to effectively design in one of those. So Studio is free and you can create intricately layered designs in Silhouette Studio for your laser cutter. Okay. So let's kind of like scale it back just a little bit. Silhouette Studio is a vector-based program, just like Illustrator. When you are creating in this software, you have the ability to save in what's considered like vector formats that's going to have paths, right? So that's your SVG, your EPS, your Illustrator, your CAD cut. The CAD ones, y'all probably don't know those. DXF files. And from a vector-based program, PDF would also be a vector layout to where you could save it, open it, and it's going to create a cut line. That is what I use when I'm using my Roland BN20. Silhouette Studio is where I create everything. It's where I set everything up. And then I will go into Illustrator to add my cut lines if I want the Roland to actually cut it out. If I don't want the Roland to cut it out, I'm going to create it in Silhouette Studio, add my registration marks. I'm going to save it as a PDF. PDFs read better. Every time I try to do like a JPEG, it's like it says it's corrupt or whatever. So I need a PDF file to efficiently be able to print from VersaWorks to my Roland. And I can take that PDF file with all of the vector elements. The PDF file is going to hold the vector elements if needed. It's going to also be able to, carry those rasterized like images and things like that. SVG is one to where although I will have outlines, you cannot have like images. Any images will turn up black if you save it as an SVG, because that is only meant for vector, where PDF, if from the right platform, would be a hybrid, I guess, like file type. Hopefully that, I'm not sure. I know it's kind of technical. It may or may not be making sense, but like PDF from the right platform becomes kind of hybrid. So I save it as a PDF, and then I can take that PDF straight to VersaWorks and then have it print onto my Roland. If I wanted to cut, I have to go into a different program. Some people use Flexi. The price on that to me is it's unnecessary, like, because you can do those same things in other platforms. Like that Flexi to me is it's unnecessary and they're too expensive. But the reason why I would have to go into Illustrator is Silhouette Studio, although you have all of these colors that you can choose, you can go in and you can put in a hex code. Who here does not know what a hex code is? So put a 2 in the chat if you do not know what a hex code is. Put a 3 in the chat if you do know what hex codes are. 2 if you do not. 3 if you do know what hex codes are. All right, so I see all 3s. I only see 1, 2. The heck? I just had. Now I knew I was going to discuss this, and I just had my printout. It's okay. I'll use this one. So a couple people that have a 2, right? So your hex code is a alphanumeric 6-character number, was it's 6-character alphanumeric that is associated with colors. It's supposed to be universal, but depending on your computer screen and depending on your printer and whether or not it's converted in type of ink, it still may or may not kind of give you the right color, especially if you're using certain printers. But what it can do is it will show you the color output. So we sell these color charts on our website. And I have this color chart printed out on every single media that I use. My glossy paper, my matte paper, my vinyl. This is Orjet that I print from that's printed on a solvent, eco-solvent latex printer. I sent them off to the printers that I outsourced to. I needed to see exactly how their printer would print out these colors. Every single sublimation printer that I have, I printed out from there. I printed out on my Jet Pro 3G. I sublimated it to glitter cardstock. I sent it off to my DTF printers, those who print DTF for me. I sent my color chart to them. Any and everywhere I print from or utilize for prints, I'm going to have that. I'm going to refer to this because the colors and the shades will be different, even if it's from the same exact printer. If I take this and print it on matte paper versus a satin paper versus a glossy paper, the same color would look different on each one of those medias. Okay, understand that. So what this does, you can have numbers in a couple different ways. Most commonly is a hex code, which normally has a hash mark in front, or you would have RGB values. Red, R is for red, G, green, B, blue. RGB, red, green, blue. And that's normally how things show up on your computer screen because it's made up of red, green, and blue. So people like RGB versus CMYK. So that hash mark, those alphanumerics with the hash mark hashtag in front of it, that is a hex code. Every single color has a hex code, basically, that computers would read to give you that color. So if I'm designing in Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, whatever, if I know when I output it from this particular printer on this particular media, I'm going to pull that color chart and I'm going to put that in. You can put this color code in, but you then go and print from a converted sublimation printer that you use in EcoTank, and the colors are not going to be correct. You would need to print this out on your converted sublimation printer, press it to fabric, press it to glitter, press it onto a hard substrate, put it onto a tumbler, put it onto, just get like the large, like if you wanted to do it on the MDF, you can get either a large photo frame, get a couple of them, press it to it, but you need something where you're going to be able to actually see this finalized. Print it out and subbed, or simply print it out if it's on something like paper or adhesive sheets or vinyl, DTF, whoever, whatever. You need to see the final outcome. And then now you can look at, hopefully you're not colorblind or you don't have issues with colors, or you can have your clients go and look at this and say, okay, based off of my point of view and my eyes, I want this shade of purple for my design. All right, cool. You're going to go in, put that hex code in, and then once you print it out, there's going to be no guesswork. Now, this does not apply if you are using something that was already done. It's already saved as a JPEG or a PNG. Now, if it is vector, you can click on that and easily fill it in with color. If it is a PNG and it has all these other colors, you have to isolate those colors and then change them and select the right blend mode and da-da-da. It's a whole process. Like there are layers and layers and layers and layers to designing. Do you have to learn all of these layers and master all of these layers? No, because they're not relevant. They're not relevant to what it is that you are doing. You have to learn what are the tools, what are the functions, what are the things that I need to learn for what I am trying to do in this moment, okay? So this is what a hex code is. Now, all of the platforms will allow you to add this hex code in some way, shape, or form, okay? You'll be able to, so Silhouette Studio, you can put in hex codes, Canva, Photoshop, all of these platforms, you can put in hex codes. And I actually forgot where I was going with it, but it's okay. That was still a good lesson. It was something about designing, but now I can't remember what it was, but it's okay. So she says, My turquoise and my logo comes out different when printed from different sources. Yeah, there's no way around that. That's going to happen unless they have it, like once they have it printed out and they know, like they'll have different color profiles that are made for each, like for your monitor to see how it's going to come out. So they'll have these color profiles and they'll put it in there for, hey, for the, like, let's say for a photographer, if they're printing on a satin, like canvas, there's a certain color profile so that the colors come out the right way. And then they have to switch the color profile. They're going to print on glossy. They have to change that color profile. If they're going to print onto matte, they have to change that color profile. Now, by them changing that color profile, each of those medias, the colors will look closer, like they will look similar, like they won't be that much variation in them, because the printer knew, based off of the media that I have in this printer, I need to adjust to this color profile. Because we sell ink, people ask us all the time about color profiles. We cannot provide you a color profile because we don't know what brand of paper you're printing to. We don't know what printer you're printing from. We don't know what you're going to press that to. I've had things where if I press it to a tumbler, it looks slightly different than sublimating to a shirt. And then with the shirts, some are really bright white. Some have a blue undertone. Some look kind of yellowish. The color comes out different. If I press something to MDF, it comes out looking different. If I press something to a mug and a tumbler, the colors are slightly different because of the coating, because of the like the back color behind it, because ink is translucent. Unless you are doing something like DTF or like DTG, where there is a white underbase, it is translucent. So the background, that white or that color, whatever it is you're putting it on, is going to affect the color. Okay. So it's important to know that. So when it comes to these design programs, all of them will allow you to use a hex code. So that's something that's universal. But then there's like blend modes. Okay, so I knew I was going. So you can change hex codes and you can do color changes like this. But in order to create a outline so that my roller knows where to cut, like any type of cutter like that, you have to do what's called a spot color. There are different types of colors when you go into programs like Illustrator or Affinity and things like that. There's different types of color. So this particular one is called a spot color, and you have to be able to name that color. You cannot name your colors in Silhouette Studio. You can only choose the hex code. So you would have to go choose a spot color. If you want that spot color to be a specific hex code, you put that color code so that it produces this color, but the type of color is called a spot color. And then you have to label it, and it has to be a specific way. It has to say cut contour all together as one word, capital C on both. If you're doing one and you want it to be a perforated line, you have to put pref cut or pref contour. I forget what it is, but that's how it then knows to don't cut it just straight all the way through. You're going to cut and then jump. And of course you put your settings in, how far you want that jump to be, but it's going to cut it like and leave little tabs to it where it's still attached. But you have to give it it has to be a different color than the spot color one so that it knows. And you have to label it pref cut or cut contour. You have to put it that way in order for our system, for me, which is VersaWorks, to know how to properly cut that. Okay. If I'm going to let that machine cut it. But if I'm on Silhouette, the outline is just there. I tell it if I want it to cut outline, or no cut. Okay. So I cannot use Silhouette Studio to complete projects that I want my roll-in to cut. I have to go into something like Illustrator or Affinity and all those, like, or CorelDRAW or whatever. But for me, it's Illustrator. So I do use Illustrator. It's just not my go-to for certain things. Okay. I could not use Photoshop for that. So if you're someone, you're like, I'm not sure if you guys saw when I did those stickers and I was showing, I'm like, I don't have to use UVDTF. I'm able to use, I'm able to do vinyl cuts. So if you wanted to use a solvent latex printer, even if you were using Photoshop, you now have to learn how to use Illustrator, because you're going to take that file that you saved as a PNG. You have to now duplicate it, trace it to create an outline. And that outline, you're going to make that your cut contour line. You now have to learn a different program because it's required. Photoshop cannot do that. Canva cannot do that. If you're wanting to create stickers and things of that nature, and you're designing them in Canva, Canva will not create cut lines for you. So you have to know how to take it into whatever platform you are using, whether it is Silhouette Studio or Leonardo for the Caesar or Cricut Design Space. You then have to know how to take that file that you created, that it was supposed to be a sticker or whatever, or just a cutout, a print and cut for a shirt, Jet Pro 3G, Caesar DTV, whatever it is. You then have to learn that program so that it can cut it out. If you're like, well, I don't really want to learn how to design in Silhouette Studio, I just need it to cut, then you don't have to worry about all of the design tools in Silhouette Studio. You just need to learn, what do I need to do to take this file and put it on the screen? How do I get it to the design page? How do I get the cut line around it? How do I size it? How do I arrange it to fill in the page? And how do I send it to cut? That is all you need to know. You don't need to know how text works. You don't need to know how compound path works, or subtract, replicate, maybe offset if you're going to put your outline around it in Silhouette, but you don't need to know all these other things. You just need to focus on, what do I need to do to take this design I created in this platform and then be able to cut it? Make sense? Let me know if you guys are with me, if you're understanding, if this is helping you. Because some people are frustrated with programs because they're trying to make it do something that it simply cannot do. You do not understand the limitations of different programs, the pros and cons, like where certain programs shine and where certain programs lack at. Let me know if I'm talking to myself. And I'm just reminding myself of these limitations and these benefits. Am I talking to myself? Or is this information that you need to, like, you are now knowing that you need this information? You need to understand this information if you've been frustrated with your design platforms. Okay, I guess I'm talking to myself. This is just for me. All right, I'm just gonna keep going. That way I can come back and refer back to this video. If my mind ever starts to leave me, I know where I can come back to because I put it out there. All right. So that's that, right? So like I was saying, I have to use Silhouette Studio and Illustrator, right? I personally don't really utilize Canva for a lot of like t-shirt type designs. Now my sister, she uses it. She uses it more so for the label. She has a business where she creates a lot of like labels for cups and things like that. It's trending. How many of you guys, okay, so what number we're on? Put a 4. If you have not seen it, put a 5 if you have. Put a 4 if you have not, a 5 if you have seen the party cups, like people are doing the ones on styrofoam and it just has a sticker on it. Or I think, some people, which I've been doing these for years, but like the full wraps of cups, some people are doing it with stickers. Some people are just doing it with cardstock. So let me know if you have or have not seen the customized cups with the stickers. Some people were doing it in a party bucket bundle, and they're putting the stickers on the party buckets, putting the stickers on the kickback cups. That's why I call them kickback cups. 4 if you have not, 5 if you have. Okay. So I see a 4. I see a couple 5s. Okay, so Ty's saying, I'm not talking to myself. That lets me know that she is a little bit behind. So that lets me know that there is a delay in the broadcast. Okay, cool beans. So my sister, that's her business, right? She does not have to have a printer for that. She creates her designs in Canva. That's where the bulk of her money comes from. The way she puts her designs together, she creates it in Canva. She sends it over to me, and I take it from there. I'm going to make sure that it has the proper cut lines. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to either send it to, if it's like her economy orders, where it's just going to be on regular sticker paper that you can get from Amazon, or, other places like third-party places that sell adhesive sheets, or I'm going to send it to my Roland. And she's able to make money and doesn't have to have a printer. She just needs to know how to properly set that file up in Canva. So she does a lot of that, and she's looking for the hidden element. Well, people like to call them hidden elements. And to me, they're not really hidden. You just got to search for them. Like, they're there. There's a lot of like sets and stuff of like backgrounds. And it's more so the letters when people are saying like the hidden ones, like hidden letters. So she can go, and she has all of that at her disposal to be able to go and put these different things together, and then just, save it and then send it over to me. And I'm able to take over from there and put it into Silhouette Studio. I find Silhouette Studio to be easier than Illustrator when it comes to that, especially if it's a really good PDF. I mean, not PDF, PNG, because Silhouette Studio has an auto PNG trace, which it can kind of eliminate those transparent pixels for you anyway. So it all depends on how you have it set up. So Canva is great for that. For me, I like Canva. It made it a little bit easier. Don't get me wrong. I love my InDesign, and that's what I was using. Being able to create hyperlinks to jump to certain places. You needed something like InDesign for that. I couldn't do that in Photoshop. I couldn't really do that in Illustrator. Kind of sort of like InDesign is what I needed that for. So here is yet another Adobe product that I was using, right? I could, do it in Word for certain things, but but you want to do a lot of them, I had to use that program. So for me, I can use Canva for that now, because you can even hyperlink to different pages. I was an event planner and an event host, and I would do games. I've done games online, and there were certain programs that I would have to use. So kind of like, let's say Jeopardy, right? Or any game where you just have all this stuff, and you click like you'll click on it. And when you click on that one, it's showing a question, right? And then you want to be able to see the answer. You click on it again, and it's going to show you what the right answer was. So I used to use this for like Family Feud, to where you click on it and it'll show like all of the different things. Well, Canva allows you to create that and set that up, because you're going to create like your main one. You're going to have like your links there, and then you're going to link it to a page that has whatever that question is. And then once you click on something on that page, it's going to link like that. Whatever you clicked on will link to another page that has graphics for the answer. So it's a lot of setup. It might be like your first 25 pages is the question. Well, like say the first one is just like the graphics, but you have to go in and set all of those hyperlinks on that first one. And then pages 2 through 26 would be, the questions. Depending on where I clicked at, it's assigned to that page for that to pop up. And then once it's on that page, I click, I might have a star on there. It might be a word answer. So when I click on that, it's going to go to one of the pages from 27 to 51, 52. And that's going to show. So everything is associated with it. Canva makes it a lot easier now than how I had to do it before. So I like it for stuff like that. I have a editing software that was driving me crazy. Like it's always going through bugs and glitches. And I have to always update it and things of that nature. I have found myself editing videos in Canva more than I edit videos over there. So Canva gives me the ability to do that. Would I ever be able to do that in Silhouette Studio? No. Could I do that in Photoshop? No. So knowing what all a program offers is key, and then knowing what it is that you want it to do. So I can create my thumbnails in Canva, but I can also edit a video down. I actually just did that. So I'm going to re-upload a video that I did because somebody commented on it. And I said, oh, let me start here. And I'm going to go through a lot of my videos and I'm going to cut out because I do my videos live. I'm waiting for the audience to build and things of that nature. I wasn't really taking the time because it takes a long time to edit, right? So you have to find the dead space, but there's also AI. So I'm also using some AI tools to kind of identify dead space and cut those out as well. But I'm cutting things down and repackaging them. And I'm just going to repost these same exact videos. Okay. So I'm not going to recreate. I have 10 years of amazing tutorials. If I decided to never create another tutorial, I literally have all of the groundwork. And I promise you, the same video that I did 7-8 years ago applies today. I promise, because I was always before my time, which is why I'm like, I'm just going to resubmit these. I was showing y'all stuff that you were not ready for when I was showing it 7, 6, 10 years ago. Y'all weren't ready for it. I was before my time. But when people see it and it's like a video from 2014, it's not this 2015. It's like they don't value it the same. So I'm just going to repurpose them and just repost them. And y'all think they're new videos, but I'm not going to be doing new videos because I don't need to. I've always been before my time. Okay. So I can use it for that. I am a Excel. I know Excel. I've created databases in Excel and creating different things that I can use Access, which was a true database. That was the Microsoft like database platform. So I've created things in there when it comes to my taxes and being able to do that. And like when I first started out doing bookkeeping for myself before you can pay for a program that does all that stuff, having the different pages connect. I got promotions based off of me knowing how to use Excel because it made me look like a superstar when I worked at the arena, and people who were in the stands that I became a newbie to, they would take forever to close out, do all this stuff. Who? Not me, not I. I didn't really ever need a head cashier because I'm going to be on it. I brought in my laptop. I had Excel spreadsheets and they told me I couldn't bring in my laptop. I went and purchased me what was that phone called? Oh God, I can't think of it, but I can slide it. And it was like having a whole notebook. Oh my God, why can't I think of the phone that I had? MTC, but it was something else. But I got one of those so I can have my Excel on it. I had all of the formulas there. I count their money. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have to worry about what the dollar amount is. If it's 520s, I'm putting 520s. It's going to do the calculation for me. I'm writing that stuff down. I'm downstairs. They're looking at me like, girl, how are you down here that fast? Do you know people in this stand take hours, an hour or whatever? How are you down here so fast? Because I'm going to utilize I'm going to utilize my skills. I'm going to work smarter, not harder. So I know Excel. I've taught Excel and certain things in my creative business program, how to calculate for their shipping. If they don't have a website, I've created spreadsheets, whether it's a Google Doc, like they use it on Google Doc, they use Excel. Now they can use it in Canva as well. So I've created these spreadsheets that allow them to calculate and know the exact the exact weight of their order just by putting in a few things because they don't have a website that's going to automatically calculate it. And that way they can easily be able to tell their clients or their customers how much shipping will be. I created that in Excel. I created a master cost calculator, right? So how to set your prices, a pricing calculator. I created that in Excel. And I like Excel. Google Sheets kind of allows you to do the same things, but there's still some limitations. So I prefer Excel, but you can technically do it in Google Sheets. Well, now Canva has entered the chat, and you can do all of this in Canva as well. And Canva has an AI component to where you can say, I want da 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 da. It's going to produce it all for you. AI is nothing more than prompts. You just have to open your mouth, or open your fingers to type it out and know what it is that you want, even through all of your bumbling. Do you have to be perfect with it? Absolutely not. You can put your ums in there as you're thinking through, trying to figure out what it is that you want. It's cool. AI is going to filter through the madness and the chaos. It's going to eliminate the chaos, take the good stuff, and it's going to give you what you asked for. But you have to be willing to open your mouth. It's no different than I'm always telling you guys, what are your questions? You got to be able to feed these platforms. You got to feed AI something in order to get it back. But the same way that you guys sit on these platforms, these live videos, these trainings that you pay for, and you sit in the background and you say nothing. I get it. Some of you guys are at work, but you don't even bother to come back and post that question or say thank you. But you're not feeding anything into it. So you're going to be limited or feel limited on what you're getting back. But Canva has that now. Canva is AI driven. Canva has it to where when you like in Photoshop, you have to know how to blur things off. Canva, it's a lot of AI features. When I say blur, like to remove something and like cover it up, there's certain steps that you have to do in Photoshop. Canva's AI, you can select something and say you can grab the text from it. It's going to give it to you where you can go in there and edit it. You can grab an image. It's going to do that. And it's going to grab the image and it's going to take it out and then fill that part back in where it's not blank. Now, it does depend on what part you're trying to remove. It's not as simple as that because it does have limitations, but it has all of these great AI components, which is why most people feel like it's easier because you don't have to learn the multiple steps that it would take in Photoshop or Illustrator or Silhouette Studio. It can do it, but to a certain degree. No, it wasn't a BlackBerry. I couldn't stand Blackberries. I can't. It was it's MTC, but I can't think of. It was I had a full screen, a full keypad. God. I can't think of what my phone was called. But it wasn't a BlackBerry. But I am literally losing my mind as to what that phone was. Because I had a pin to it. It was one of the first ones where you had like a little pin before the Samsung's Notes and Galaxies and stuff. But I cannot think of and I love that phone too. And I cannot think of the name of that phone. No, not a Sidekick. It was a little bit more, a little more advanced than those. Oh God, let me see something. HTC. I would say MTC. I don't know why, but it was a HTC Touch Pro, like those. I can, it was through Sprint. I can slide it up and I had a full keyboard and you can slide it back. So that's the one that I had. I missed that. I love that phone. Oh my God, I love that phone. Let's see here. Okay, wait, let me go back up. Trying to learn Canva, join our Understanding Canva class. Now, as far as the tracing, do you have to have a Cameo cutter for that feature? I have Silhouette Studio Business Edition to use with my other cutters. No, you can do tracing in the free version, and you don't have to have a machine. Let's see here. I used Magic Grab in Canva the other night. I was like, whoa. Yes, it was my first time using it, but it was really, really nice. You remember that one? Yes, I love that one. I had one a long time ago. I love that phone. And being able to have Excel on it, and it just, it's like being able to see a full screen. I love that thing. And when they told me I couldn't bring in my computer anymore, don't worry about it. Let me go ahead and upgrade to this HTC Touch. Yes. That little old stylus. Oh, I loved it though. Let's see here. But yeah, anywho, so Canva allows you to do things like that. Canva has pre-made templates. Canva has elements in it. But if you break it down, if you're someone that's brand new, a lot of these things can be done in each of these programs. Typing out text, bringing in PNGs and JPEGs, having backgrounds, filling things, the terminology, like a lot of the same verbiage is in each of the programs, but they're different. Crop in Silhouette Studio is different than crop in Photoshop. Crop is different in Canva. But they will so they do different things in each of the platforms. It's different in Illustrator. So you have to learn okay, what is that you're trying to do? And then what's that terminology for each program? That a lot of times is the hardest part. If you already know one program, you just have to learn the lingo and how things operate in the other, but you're not relearning how to design, which is why I always lead with learn the programs first. Take the time, dedicate a week, dedicate a month, because we have a 30-day training to go through and learn what each tool and function does at its core. Because if you were used to already, you figured out Cricut Design Space. Okay, I know how to do this. I know the design, the outlook that the outcome that I'm looking for. How do I accomplish this in a program like Silhouette? Can I accomplish this in Canva? Can I accomplish this in Photoshop? So if I know, okay, I need it to slice over here, does Photoshop have something equivalent to slice? Does Silhouette have something that's equivalent to slice? Or what slice does? Does Canva have something that's equivalent to what slice does? And I'll just answer that for you. It absolutely does not. Photoshop, kind of, sort of, but not really. Silhouette Studio, yes, it's actually a couple different functions, but it's going to give you that. Illustrator also, yes. Affinity Designer, yes. But with Photoshop, it's slightly different. It's not quite like that's not something that you really want to kind of do. Over there, you have to make it a selection in order, like you have to have the marching ants in order to be able to remove something. Whereas in Silhouette, I'm just going to take these two, put them together, and I'm just going to hit subtract or weld or compound path or divide or intersect or whatever. Whereas with Photoshop, you have to be able to either create that and then turn it into a selection so that you can delete or, do whatever to remove that, or put a layer mask to then be able to brush it away. So that's why some people may feel like Photoshop is a little bit more intimidating, because it's not a click of a button for a lot of things, but it also offers more. None of those programs, other programs outside of like Photoshop and the ones I'm talking about now, there are other programs, but when you're talking Silhouette Studio and you're talking Canva, they're not going to allow you to pillow emboss, make it chiseled and things like that. You're not going to be able to do that in Silhouette Studio or Canva. So if you're wanting that look, I will show you. Okay, so I did this tumbler, okay? And as you can see, it's flat. If you look at this was my tester one. So if you're looking at all of the elements on here, they're flat. Y'all see that, right? Everything is flat. I want to make sure you guys see it's flat. So now I'm going to show you what that looked like once it was once I zhuzhed it up. Let me go find it. Why are you not switching over? It's still stuck. Okay, you gotta give me a second. It's actually stuck on my WD My Cloud. It's not switching over to my Samsung drive. So let me exit out of this and then reopen this back up. So that I can wait, is this the one? Oh crap, I can't sell. Hold on. That may not be. Okay, no, that's not the one. Hold on, I'm sorry. I gotta find the one that has the. Okay, all of these are flat. Did I not make a mock-up of it once I added the embossing? And ooh, shoot. All right, maybe I'm going to have to go to pictures in my phone because I did not make a. You know what? Let's just go straight to Photoshop. Let's do it that way. I used the slice tool last night on a project to fix something. The entire project gave me a fit, but I figured it out now to fix the low resolution of the image. So if you use slice, that means you're in Cricut design space. So when you say the low resolution of it, is it because you were trying to take it from Cricut and then utilize it somewhere else? All right, let me find, sorry, y'all, let me find this, Tumblr. Well, dang. Okay, hold on now. On my computer. Because wherefore art thou stuff? Like, hello? Where my stuff at? Okay, let's go group by type. So I go straight to all of the Photoshop files. And excuse me? Where is the file? Oh, wait, this is pretty, hold on. Oh, okay. I was like, what the world? Where'd it go? But there it is. All right. No, that's not it. Oh my gosh, I never saved it. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. No. Don't tell me that. Okay. Woo! Jesus. Got kind of scared there. Okay. Got kind of scared there. All right. So let me flip this over to here. And then let's take you guys over here. All right. So I'm going to zoom in. So you can see here where it's raised. You look at the face. I'm going to turn this effect off. Do you see how that change is flattened? I'm going to turn it back on. And it's raised. I'm going to do the 99. I'm going to turn this effect off. And well, it's actually on a couple different places. So you see that Can y'all see it? Do I need to zoom in anymore? Whoa. All right, let's focus on this one. I'm going to turn this on, and you can see where it raises and on and how that changes. I can't get that effect in any of those other programs. So while I designed this and originally set this design up in Silhouette Studio, in order for me to get that look where everything is like raised and it's giving it dimension, I had to be able to save that in a specific way. I'm not going to say it on here. Some stuff ain't made for free content. You got to pay for that kind of content. But I save it in a way where I'm able to get that to Photoshop without having to recreate it all over again. And all I have to do is know how to use my layer style. So I don't have to know. You wouldn't have to know how to full on design this in, what's the program called? Photoshop. And some may be like, well, why would you not want to design it in Photoshop? Why go through all of that? Things like this, where I'm going to kind of bring this down to like 300 because it looks pixelated. Well, there it looks pixelated too. But where there are sharp edges at, I can't create that in Photoshop. That would be a limitation. Me being able to create outlines that have sharp outlines. I cannot do that in Photoshop. So it would be best for me to start that in a different program and then just bring it over to Photoshop once I have the design layout so that I can add my extras. If I wanted to change the blend mode and make it like, or just do certain adjustments to, like even to this background piece right here. So if I wanted to change my blend mode, I could. Let me see. So let's see screen. So if I wanted that to look a little bit brighter, I'm able to come in this platform and do different, give it different effects. Okay. Over here compared to other programs. So it's important to know that each program truly offers certain benefits over the other programs and that you may need to utilize them together. Am I making sense to you? This is actually a combination of all three platforms because some of these elements came from Canva because they were already done. Like I would be able to, could I create this brush stroke in Photoshop? Yes, but you have to know how to create a brush that has scatter, that will move certain ways in order to be able to create that. But somebody also took the time, created the brush, made a brush stroke. They took that brush stroke and they saved it as a PNG. And you can either use it as a PNG or they now take that brush stroke. They created it in Photoshop with a solid black. They're going to save it as a PNG. They're going to take that PNG into a program like Silhouette Studio. You're going to trace that PNG, and then you'll be able to save that PNG as a vector format, i.e. SVG. Or you can take it into Illustrator and you're going to trace that down and you can then save that as an SVG, an EPS, an AI, meaning Illustrator, a DXF file, a CAD cut file. Like you can save it. So you start it in Photoshop, but Photoshop cannot get you like how you really want to use this to where you can easily change the color from like any program. So it will just be able to save it as the PNG because it's pixels. So then you take it into a different program, and that program is where you're going to turn it into a vector. So for the person that said they wanted to make laser files, so let's say you wanted this laser file that looked like a brush stroke, you would end up, you or someone would end up creating that in Photoshop. So let's say if you were starting from scratch, you would have to learn how to create that brushstroke, create it in Photoshop, save it as a PNG with a transparent background, take that into Silhouette Studio or Illustrator and vectorize it, which basically means to trace it. And you have to do a few more extra steps in Illustrator. And then you could save that in the proper file format for you to be able to go through and lay. I mean, this is a lot of like internal parts, but you would technically still be able to laser cut it. Am I making sense? Is that person still here who was asking about the laser cutting? So my goal with these live videos is not always to go in and show you, okay, let's design this today, because there's a mixed bag. One, I don't know who all is here, because every time I ask y'all, well, what program are y'all using? Y'all don't like to answer me. So I don't know what program to truly show you things from, because y'all aren't talking to me. So I rather educate you on these platforms. And then if you are really wanting to learn how to design, I highly recommend that you take our class. I invite you to take our classes where we can break down your specific program. We're not going into this one, that one, whatever, your specific program. If there is something specific that you're wanting to learn, maybe something that I said, it's like, ooh, I would like to learn that. Let me know. If enough people show interest in that exact same thing, I'll set up a class. But gone are the days of me setting up a class just because y'all, oh, I want to, and then y'all don't really participate. Or set up and then y'all don't really want to come to the class. Y'all thought that a classmate, I was going to do it for free when I'm not getting paid for it. Nah, some things have to be within the academy, and I can really focus in on those particular tasks and answer your questions. But I'm able to show you guys a wide variety of things. You just got to get in the rooms, okay? So everything that you see me do when you see me go live, is it going to always be, well, let me show you how to design this tumbler and go through the steps? It's going to be kind of pointless, because most of you guys are not following along. You're not here to like really watch it to learn. It's like you're just listening. I'm almost like a podcast. So it doesn't really benefit me or you to really show all these designs here. You're going to really benefit from the playback. The playbacks and breaking it down as a lesson is in one of my academy courses, okay? So I've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. I will open it up. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know about any of these programs. Let me know. Thank you, Coach. I love how you go over different programs for someone like me that don't know about each one. Again, thank you. No problem. And I do this also because you'll see people mention programs in other groups. And as a beginner, as someone who has a desire to grow and you're wanting your business to be better, in your mind, because of what you see in these groups, you're like, oh, I have to learn this. Oh, is that what's going to take for me to be successful? Is that what it's going to take for me to be able to leave my 9 to 5? Oh, I have to learn this program. Well, you're going to then go into that program and it's not going to provide you any of the tools and resources that you need to design the things that you need to design. So it's important for me, someone who is actually well-versed in all of these different areas, to highlight what you can and cannot do. And I like to do them like all in one, because I want you to see the true difference between these 3 platforms that we teach in our academy. Any questions? Okay, see, I wasn't seeing these. Someone said, I want to use Canva, but it's confusing for me. The one thing is create the inflated look wallpaper that have them embedded in it. No, if you're talking to yourself, that is good info. Well, you're not talking to yourself, that's good info. They don't understand, but since I follow you, but I do since I follow you. Someone asked me to do shot glasses. If I study Canva like I study Silhouette Studio, I may use it more, like the hidden letters and such. It really hit to me, I guess. Good morning from Alabama. Hey, Shayla. So I have a question. Oh, I just saw this. I was attempting to blur a picture and make an old one look better. I tried Photoshop, but the picture didn't turn out well. What do you recommend to try? Okay, so this is a common misconception on editing images that are pixelated or blurry, right? There is no magic way of doing that. When people restore pictures so that they look better, it is a very, very intricate, time-consuming process, which is why it is very expensive. It is not something that is kind of a click of a button to kind of do. AI has made it where you can kind of do that, but what AI does, it doesn't create anything from scratch. You have to understand that. AI does not create anything from scratch. It's going to find elements or pieces of it everywhere else around the internet, and it will kind of bring it together. This is what, and it'll kind of see the way the features are and then try to find something that is similar to it, which is why a lot of times when people use AI, it's changing their faces. They have a slight grin, it's making it this big grin. So it's not truly fixing that image. It is replacing it with higher quality pixels or image, like parts like that, right? So there are some things where it can smooth things out, but it doesn't necessarily make it clear. I know, what was the one that people would always recommend? Is it Rimini, something like that? And people are like, oh, it's to clear up pictures. It would make people's faces super, super clear, but their clothes and the background would still be pixelated. Because it's almost impossible to find all of those elements for a dress that someone has on and find them and now make this look better. So you cannot just go in and make something less blurry or less pixelated with just like a click of a button. If it's something that is text, it is literally this step where you have to go like literally around the mulberry bush to get it to be back clear. Because you can't just click on it and have it select and things like that. Silhouette Studio allows you to use edit points and stuff like that, and you can kind of clear up certain things and make them sharp points. In Photoshop, it's a lot of filters. You literally take it, you have to create different channels, and then you use Gaussian blur to blur it out, and then you'll use your like levels and curves to change those to kind of take away that blur and create it. It's a lot of steps. So it's not something that's kind of a click and go, but you have to, for something like that, it's better if you take a class dedicated for that particular thing, or watch a video dedicated for that. And you're going to need to practice and practice and practice that thing, because it's not that easy and it's not always going to give you the best results. Okay. Yeah. So when they do photo restoration and there's like cracks and stuff in it, they're going little by little and they are cloning from a good side, covering that. And they have to constantly keep changing their angles. They have to do different blends. They have to feather things out. So it is like, is that rain? Oh no. It's like surgery when you are doing something like that. It's not something that's easy. If you are brand new to Photoshop, you're not going to be equipped with the skills to be able to do that. And it's going to take a lot of patience. And it's not something, I'll say this, it is not something that you should be doing if you are barely charging your clients. If they send you something that is blurry and pixelated, the majority of the audience that I speak to, don't waste your time trying to clear this up because you're not even charging them enough for that anyway. Those who want pictures restored, they pay a lot of money for it. Or those who restore them, they charge a lot of money for it, whether people pay it or not. Those who really, really want it restored will pay that, but who are great at restoration, we're talking a couple thousand dollars, depending on like the way the image is, because of the number of hours that it takes to go in and edit this, not as one and clicking a button and using AI. They're going to go in and pixel by pixel, they're going to restore this image. Okay. So the space that the majority of you who watch me, you're in, you are not in the business of correcting photos for them. Hear me and hear me well. You are making more work for yourself, trying to secure this order. Like, oh, I'm going to take this picture, I'm going to make it better. They knew they wanted this. If they submitted that jacked up picture to you, stop thinking that that is a reflection on you and your business. Make it with the bull crap they gave to you, or simply say no. You are not charging enough to go in and try and fix these images. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even if you learn the technique, aside from whatever it is that you're creating for them, that restoration should be its own fee, and it should be up there. It's not a $5, $10 restoration. Make sense? Hey, what happened to my Facebook one? I'm not on Facebook anymore. Let's see. I've noticed that as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Coach, in Silhouette, am I able to put in a picture in the card like Canva? I only use Silhouette for printing. I think this will be good for me to try so I don't have to save so much. Is fixing a low resolution image in essential? You cannot fix a low resolution image. So if you're talking about like someone's face, I just said that. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. So no, if that's what you're referring to is like an actual picture or like a picture of Mickey Mouse, and it's no, you cannot. And it has all these colors. No, you cannot. Now, if it's something like, let's say if it's just a solid color like logo, you can trace it and you can manually trace it out, or you can trace it and then adjust a bunch of edit points. But I just explained that you cannot fix something that is pixelated or blurry that is like an actual image, especially if it's complex. So, Deborah, have you looked into our 30-day training for Silhouette Studio, or even any of our $5 design challenges? Have you taken a class with us? Have you looked into either Essential Silhouette Studio or any of our design challenges? You are missing out on so much. If y'all love these are helpful for you. The classes, because they are for specific things, I'm able to make the details specific to those things, and you will learn so much. Our Essentials of Silhouette Studio training is one where all the questions you have, what you're doing in, now the only thing that you don't have are those elements that are available for you in Canva. If your designs rely heavily on the elements and the assets available in Canva, It's going to be a little bit different because you would have to then go to either Silhouette Studio Design Store and purchase or find the free elements that they may have and, put them in your library. Or you're going to have to go to sites like Creative Fabrica. They have a lot of elements and fonts and things like that. And you're going to have to upload them you're going to have to install the fonts, reset Silhouette Studio, or like if it's an image, you're going to have to download it. You're going to have to unzip the file, and then you just have to know how to drag and drop or open up that file in Silhouette Studio. We literally go over all of that part within the first couple of days of Essentials of Silhouette Studio. I highly recommend you get in that class. And it's actually going to be bumped up a notch. I'm going to start doing weekly lessons in the Facebook group, and it'll just be a video for everyone else, but it'll be like post like in the Facebook group so we can kind of communicate there. But I'm going to go back to doing some weekly, like very simple lessons to just build on the knowledge that you have, because we did that like 2 years ago, or a year ago was the last time we did like a live session for it. So I'm going to be doing, instead of trying to kind of do it as like a 14-week, it's just going to be ongoing, and you need to watch the first 30 and just go through it. It's something you have lifetime access to. You don't have to rush through it. You are never going to learn all of this stuff in a short period of time because you don't have that much time in a day. So I promise you're not going to learn it all. Enroll in Essentials Silhouette Studio. You use the code 30live, you'll get 50% off of the class. Okay. So let me go over here real quick. I traced a line art drawing and colored it in, and now I have the low resolution icon on the screen. So if you trace something, that part has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that at all. It's probably picking that up from the original image that you have there. But if you actually traced it and you filled it in with color, that's vector. You now can scale that. You're going to see that little icon because of the original pixelated image is still on the screen. And that low resolution like icon, like that warning, most times you can ignore it. If you are looking at something and it is clear, ignore that, because it is looking for it to be in a certain resolution. It's hard to explain, but just ignore it. If you're looking at it and your picture is clear, ignore that. That's all you need to know. If you're looking at it and it's clear and it's just not blurry and pixelated, ignore whatever that says. Got it? All right, so let me go over here. So to add an image, so let's say you're going to be doing a card. I'm going to do it the easy way. So I'm going to make this side width 5, height 7, enter. Okay. And I'm going to use, so it's easier to comprehend, I'm going to use the replicate tool, and I'm going to replicate that this way. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this down. This would be the front and the back. This would be the inside of the front and the inside of the back. So you would need the two, right? If you just want them to be white, because the majority of your card is going to be white. If you want your card to be pink, and then you're going to add your logo to it, you just select it and you make it pink. If you want to bring in an image, I'm going to go File, Merge. And the first thing that I see, I'm going to bring in. Okay, so we're going to bring in, well, this doesn't have color to it. Dang it, but I love me a good elephant. All right, let's just bring in this baby Moana. So I'm going to bring that in, right? Now, this is a JPEG, so it has a white background around it. If this was white, it wouldn't be a big issue. I can put it on top. But because it is white, this is where you have to learn how to do things like trace and detach. So we're going to select that, take our threshold up, trace and detach. Ooh, whoa, 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 no, absolutely not. What did you do? trace and detach. That class is in the description, Deborah. It is Essentials of Silhouette Studio. Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days. But while that's doing its thing, I'm going to come over here. We also have if you search, it's also under the classes. So if you just go to classes and playbacks, we have design challenges. I'm just going to go all. Oh, wait, you know what? The design challenges don't show up because they were a la carte. But if you scroll down, I gotta go take this off. I forgot this was still on there. I gotta take that off. Dang it, I need to go here and update my website. Okay, so all of these design challenges, each of them show you how to start things, how to bring in images, things of that nature. Some of them like how to trace, and they're only $5.63. So you cannot beat that. Look into these. You will learn a lot. I mean, it may seem kind of, you may not fully understand if you don't know Silhouette Studio and you've never really opened it, but it's a great place to start just to see if you can, because even if you don't understand what the tools and functions do, the way that I did the class, and it's kind of a I do, we do, you do, you'll still be able to follow along and be able to accomplish everything that we did in each of these design challenges. So I highly recommend that you get into the design challenges, okay? So you have that, and then you have Essentials of Silhouette Studio right here. And it is, I think if you use Live 30, it's 50% off still. I think that one's still active. If it's not, email me, the professor at hsink365.com, if Live 30, or or use the chat on the website to use the chat on the website to send us a message. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back over here. All right. So this is now separated from this white background. So now it's kind of like a PNG, even though it's still a JPEG. And this one isn't that great because this is a perfect example. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good. Damn it. I hate that this is coming. Damn it. Why didn't you ask that question earlier, Deborah? We are now 2 hours in. Most people are not going to get to this part of this video, but the few of you that are on right now, you are in for a treat. Don't leave, okay? So this is where having multiple programs or just something to remove a background comes into play, okay? Because this was a JPEG, I can remove certain things around it. Like when you go inside of her hair and stuff like that, which this is still a bad trace because of here, I have to go in and do it again. But because of the inner parts of her hair, let's say if I did want this on a colored background, you would see that. Silhouette Studio does not have a background remover. But if I were to go to remove BG, so that's one of the ones that I like to use, I'm going to, we're going to drag and drop that JPEG. All right, I got to find it. Okay. Where did she go? Where did she go? Where did Moana go? Wait, am I losing my? Okay, there she is. So if I drag and drop this over here, this is a background remover. It is going to remove those white pixels from inside of her hair because it's a part of the background. So I would then be able, I pay for it. So I'm going to go ahead down. Oh, I'm not logged in. I was like, wait a minute now. Hold up. Hold on. Let me come back to me so I can log in. Okay, so back to remove background. Okay, so I'm going to go download that. I'm also going to go over here to Canva, and I'm going to bring that same image over into Canva. I'm actually going to take this and make it as big as I can without the stick. And this actually isn't like the greatest resolution image anyway. Okay, and I'm going to go background remover. And then we're going to go share, download, PNG, transparent background, and download. So now when I take these images and I bring them into Silhouette Studio, if I had auto PNG trace, which I don't like, it would automatically remove the background, but I don't like it. I have plenty of videos where I explain why I don't like that. I don't care for that feature. And I'm going to take this one and bring it down. So now when I trace and detach this, I'm going to have to use Canva to edit this down. This is really good right here. We're going to go trace and detach. And see, there was no white box, but there is, it's an invisible box. See, that was where she was at on there. So I'm just going to delete that. I don't want the stick, so I'm going to just delete all of these points. Okay. Now on this one, because I moved the stick to the bottom of the page, it wasn't a part of the final image, but it's the PNG. So I would just go select trace area. These are all different ways, and you're basically getting the same thing. Okay. So I would go here and then trace and detach. I think if I go to here, yeah, see, you can't move this around in remove BG. So it would take the whole thing. Whereas in Canva, I was able to move it to the bottom of the screen, make it bigger, and then save it, remove the background and save it as a PNG. So it gave me a little bit more versatility. Whereas with this, where it is, I have to just remove the background around the whole thing. Canva would have been the better option because I eliminated the stick just by moving it to the bottom of the screen, and it wasn't in the design window to save. Hopefully that makes sense. But the difference between this one and this one, I don't have any white behind it. Now, again, I said it before, this was not the best resolution image, so the hair looks a little funky. But you can see the pink through here versus the white through here. Okay. But you bring it in. So that was someone's picture. You're going to size it up and you're going to place it where you want it to be at. You're going to add in your text and things of that nature. That's the front. And then you will put your logo back there if you want. You would design your inside, and then you would technically print it the same way you're doing the one from Canva. You bring that in, however you're printing that. If you're printing front to back or whatever, you're going to print and go through the same exact processes, but you're able to design it here first. Like you're able to do everything here. But Silhouette Studio teaches you the platform. We do have a class that was going over like cards and things of that nature, but learning what each of these icons do, how to add text, how to create your shapes, align, transform. There's a lot of icons to this, and you need to understand what each of them do. So this would be, that would be, Essential Silhouette Studio will be the best class for you to take. At least start off with. All of the classes are amazing, but just for general knowledge, Essentials of Silhouette Studio. Okay. And you can always go in and change it. You can make the inside tan. This is where hex codes. So these are all colors that I've pulled in, but you would go into here and type in the hex code that you want it to be. I personally don't really care for like using their color picker like this. I don't recommend it. I recommend having an exact hex code, that a color code that you're going to put in. Okay. Last call, last call. Once again, last call for questions. Going once. Going twice. Sold. Two. Me going to go get my lunch. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so very much. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Share this out. Put in the comments, y'all, please, if y'all can help me out. What is your biggest takeaway from what it is that you got from this? Even if you have to watch this back in pieces, I will make sure that I go back in and try and eliminate some of the ads, because I realize when I do these 2-hour lives, YouTube puts so many ads. And if you're watching on 365 Creative Academy, I can't do anything about the number of ads they put in. I cannot adjust those, but you can watch it on Honestly Speaking until I become monetized. So I need y'all to help me become monetized over on 365 Creative Academy YouTube channel so I can control the ads. I'm gonna have to go in, change out where the ads and stuff play at in this, because they drop way too many ads. But if you get through this, put it in the comments. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were. How was this helpful for you? This helps me know what content you guys need here on the social media platforms and, like, in YouTube, and what classes that you need to take a deep dive into. It helps me determine that. All right. So until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Be incredible. Thank you, Jesse, for saying thank you and that it was a good live. You are very welcome. Peace.